You're listening to Catholic Chicago. Ahead, the Archdiocese of Chicago brings you programs about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
Hello to everyone, and welcome to another broadcast of Diakonia, a call to service. Diakonia is the Greek word for service. It's also the root word for deacon. I am privileged and blessed to be a deacon. My name is Deacon Richard Hudzik, and I serve the Archdiocese of Chicago as Vicar for Deacons. I'm also honored to be appointed and work and pray with the good people at Mary Mother of Divine Grace Parish in Westchester. And joining me, as per usual, per norm, is Deacon David Brensick, Associate Director of the Office of the Diaconate. And Deacon David is assigned to serve the people at Holy Guardian Angels Parish in Brookfield and LaGrange Park. Good day to you, Deacon David.
Good day. Hello, everyone.
Hello. And this is a show that the Archdiocese has graciously granted to our office to talk about how the call to service is not something that is exclusive to the deacons by any stretch of the imagination. Rather, we want to use this platform to talk about some of the things that deacons might be doing so as to ask people to walk with us in that service, in that ministry of service. So it's not a show about deacons, but it's merely a show by deacons. And for today's show, we've invited two luminaries. I'm sure we would call them luminaries of the Archdiocese of Chicago. We have joining us Todd Williamson, the longtime director of the Office for Divine Worship, and Father Larry Sullivan, who is both pastor of Christ the King Parish, as well as the director of the Archdiocese of Chicago's cemetery system. So, good day to both of you, Father Larry and Todd.
Thank you.
Well,
hello. It's good to be with you, Deacon Dick.
Thank you. And so I'm thinking that maybe a good place to stay simply is just a biographical word or two about each of you as to who you are, where you come from, and your family situation, that sort of thing. So I don't know, Father Larry, what's your story? Where do you come from? Who are your people?
So, just by way of introduction, thank you very much for this opportunity. I want you to know that in my 30 years of priesthood, almost 30 years of priesthood, I've really served with some wonderful deacons. Deacons have really been just such a blessing to me and my ministry. And so I want to thank you for all of your hard work and also for this opportunity. I grew up on the southwest side of Chicago. I was baptized at St. Gall Parish. Attended Queen of the Universe Grammar School at Quigley South High School, really one of the last of the lifers. And so I went from Quigley South to Niles College to Mundelein Seminary, and I'm very happy to say I get tremendous support from my family. I just saw my mom and dad yesterday, my sister and her husband and the kids over the weekend. Very blessed by a wonderful family.
Terrific. And I'm sure that feeds your ministry as well. It has to.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. And Todd, you just arrived on the scene full grown, or do you have a past?
I do have a past. Though I've been in Chicago for over 30 years now, I actually grew up in Michigan. I was born and baptized at St. Joseph's Parish in Lake Orion, Michigan, where I grew up. It's on the east side of the state, northern suburb of Detroit. Went to Sacred Heart Seminary in Detroit and graduated from the college there. Came out to Chicago for a number of reasons, but studied at Catholic Theological Union, where I studied liturgy, and worked at a parish on the far southeast side of the archdiocese.
It's not that far. It's not that far southeast.
St. Anne's and Lansing. It is when you lived in Rogers Park during that.
Okay.
Anyway, I was on staff there, and I am one of 9 children.
Wow. Okay. Well, good. Again, I'm sure that from where we come feeds what we do today, and is of vital interest to how we conduct ourselves, how we live our lives as Christians. So the topic for the day, this show will air on November 4, a little bit late in the game, but one of the things that that brings this topic to mind today is that we'll have just observed both November 1 and November 2, All Saints Day, which is not a holy day this year, and All Souls Day, November 2. But regardless of the fact that we're 48 hours after All Souls Day, I think it's good to set the stage for the rest of November, maybe even for next year's honoring of All Saints and All Souls Day, that we talk today about those 2 days as well as in general the month of November. And I neglected Dia de los Muertos is also in Chicago in the Archdiocese. I imagine that's a very large recognition and honoring of our dead. Any comments from either of you about those celebrations on November 1, 2, or Dia de los Muertos?
So really, these are special days in the life of the Church. And while they're not, while All Saints Day is not a holy day of obligation this year because it falls on a Monday, it's still a holy day. It's still a special day. And so I know at our parish we will be reminded of the fact that we are all called to be a saintly people. And being a saintly people doesn't mean that we're called to be perfect, but rather that we strive to do our best to serve the Lord. And so All Saints Day is about recognizing the official saints of the Church, and also about our own call to be the best followers of Jesus that we can. All Souls Day will also be a special day in the life of our parish. We will honor all those we've lost in the past year in a special and specific way, but we really remember all those who have gone before us on All Souls Day. I do think it's interesting to note that Dia de Muertos and Halloween really have a lot in common. And what it was these were pagan celebrations that were meant to kind of mock death in some ways, or to not let death have its power over us. And so when the Church incorporated those days, those special days, whether it was Halloween and kind of dressing up as ghouls or ghosts, or that was all to say, because of the love of Christ, because God's love conquers all things, destroying even death itself, we can make fun of these things. We don't have to be afraid of them. And Halloween turned from dressing up as witches and ghosts and goblins, and then to the saints of the Church, and it's kind of an eve of All Saints Day, and now it's back to any kind of character or costume or that. But it's really got a great history, all of which is designed to remind us that because of God's love, we do not have to fear death.
And so we say with St. Paul, "Death, where is thy sting?" It's we're not conquered by death. Anything at Catholic cemeteries that we would see on these days in particular?
Yeah. So on Sunday, November 7th, we're going to have an outdoor rosary and prayer service at our major locations, and that'll take place at 2:00. The because All Souls Day is such a significant day in the life of the parish, we've moved Cemetery Sunday and Rosary Sunday and combined those so that we are honoring those who have gone before us in a very special way at Catholic cemeteries, but we're not drawing people away on All Souls Day itself because people want to be at their home parishes. So the month of November is a very special day for us. We've got booklets honoring all those who have died, and we do the rosaries, and we try to remember that our cemeteries are safe and sacred places 365 days a year. We're always open. It's always a place for people to come and to remember how their loved one touched their lives and how God worked through them.
Hey, Father Larry, can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
Does your parish use the Book of the Names of the Dead?
We were doing so before the pandemic. It just made things more complicated. We will be reinstituting it. Those are one of the things that the pandemic has really hurt us in. In the past, we'd have the family members inscribe the name as a part of the funeral service. When I was at St. Celestine's, when I was at St. Christina, it was just a very moving tribute.
I find that the presence of the Book of the Names of the Dead is it's a wonderful custom in many Catholic parishes. It's that idea that, like the word you just used, we inscribe their names in this book that in a sense becomes an official sign registry of the parish for those who have gone before us.
And if you go on our website, CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org, you can see all the names. You go to the particular cemetery, and you'll see all the names of all the people who have been buried in this past year, entombed or interred. So it's a great way of honoring those who've gone before us.
And does the website have the list of the cemeteries that will have the Cemetery Sunday services?
Yes, it does. It has a list of the cemeteries that will have the services, and then you can click on that to see the memorial book, the Cemetery Sunday booklets, as well as the Memorial Remembrance book.
All right. Yeah, I've been...
We've got 46 cemeteries, and so they're not all... Some are very small. The smallest is St. Michael's Cemetery, which was a parish cemetery out in Orland Park, to our flagship, Queen of Heaven, that's 400 plus acres.
And those are scattered throughout the Archdiocese.
Scattered throughout the Archdiocese of Chicago, which is Cook and Lake County.
That's great. All right. Are we going to break now?
Sure, let's go to a break. All right. So we'll go to a break. Hang on. We'll be back with more interrogation of these luminaries.
Have an old bicycle that's not being used? Consider donating it to Catholic Charities Veterans Bike Project of Lake County. Skilled volunteers are refurbishing bicycles to make them safe and ready to be used by veterans to get to and from their new places of work. We also gratefully accept financial contributions that are used to purchase bike helmets and other safety accessories. Our veterans have faithfully served the United States, and now it is our privilege to serve them. For more information on the Veterans Bike Project of Lake County, call 847-782-4219. That's 847-782-4219.
We are at the Most Blessed Trinity Parish Food Pantry in Waukegan.
And here we care for people in need. There was definitely an uptick in the needs for services.
We doubled our volume after COVID hit, from servicing about 250 families a week to about 500 a week. We supply bread, tortillas, vegetables, milk, cheese, butter, proteins, fish, chicken, eggs.
Well, the annual Catholic Appeal has been a tremendous help to us, especially over the past year and a half.
Without the annual Catholic Appeal, we might have to close our doors. Our parish is the largest one in the Archdiocese, but is very poor. We think about food and we think about nourishment, but we also nourish the soul, provide that connection to humanity.
The good works here are made possible through the Annual Catholic Appeal. Make your gift at annualcatholicappeal.com.
In recent weeks, many people have reached out to Catholic Charities to ask what we are doing to help our Afghan brothers and sisters. They also ask how they can join us in our work. Current estimates suggest that 50,000 refugees are headed to our shores in the coming weeks. Based on a decade of experience in refugee resettlement, we predict that it will cost $50,000 to resettle a family of 4 for 6 months. This includes housing, food, clothing, and other urgent needs as they establish new lives in Chicago. As Jesus tells us, "Whatsoever you do for the least of my people, that you do unto me." Please assist us as we welcome the first 10 families. Visit CatholicCharities.net to donate to our special Refugee Resettlement Appeal, or call 312-948-6087.
Welcome back. My name is Dave Brentzick. I'm joined by Deacon Richard Hudzik, and today's guests are Father Larry Sullivan and Todd Williamson. Father Larry, why go to the cemetery, to visit? Can I just pray for people at home?
Well, of course, you can always pray for people at home, and I think that is a good and noble thing to do. But our cemeteries are safe and sacred places. They're places where people can come to remember in a very serene surrounding about the message of God's love. And the early Christian community celebrated Masses in one of two places. They celebrated Masses in the homes of the early Christians, and they celebrated Mass at the tombs, at the graves of the martyrs. And so they would go to the cemetery, celebrate Mass, remember the way that the martyrs, the saints, had lived their lives, the way that they had been filled with a sense of God's love. So Catholic cemeteries are really an essential part of our faith, and always have been, right from the very beginning.
And if I'm at the cemetery, if I wanted to get information, to make arrangements for the future, are there people there I can speak with?
There are. So we have we do have office hours, and the cemeteries are open 365 days a year. Between October 16th and February 28th, it's between 8 o'clock and 5 o'clock. And then between March 1st and October 15th, 8 in the morning till 7 p.m. The office hours are from 8:30 to 4, Monday through Friday, and Saturday, 9 o'clock until 1 o'clock. Again, you can always access a wide variety of information at our website, CatholicCemeteriesofChicago.org, or to email us. And we do have a phone number, 708-236-5400. Again, 708-236-5400. We really do believe in customer service. We are here to help our families, and you will find our staff to be incredibly helpful. They are truly wonderful people.
Great. Now, Todd, if I'm going to the cemetery and visiting a grave of a loved one, Are there certain prayers I should be reciting?
There are no prescribed prayers. So in other words, there's nothing that a person should pray. But there are wonderful and varied options for what a person might pray. Certainly their own personal prayer, first and foremost, their own personal prayer to God for their loved ones or anyone else they want to remember. But I also encourage people to pray the Psalms in visiting the dead. Psalm 23, Psalm 103, Psalm 31. That's the church's first prayer book. So you can get informal like that, but it also can even advance into more formal prayer. So for example, Catholic Household Blessings and Prayers. That's a book for the family that the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops publishes and sells. And it's a collection of prayers for the home, prayers for the family. Catholic Household Blessings and Prayers. And in there is a prayer service for the dead. And I know families that use that when they go to the cemetery. Maybe a little bit more official is the Book of Blessings, which is a formal ritual book of the church. Every parish has it. Any of our listeners could go to their parish and probably borrow it if they wanted, or get a copy of the Order for Visiting a Cemetery. So there's any number of options for praying in our tradition for the deceased.
Oh, great suggestions.
You know that, and Todd, that the Book of Household Prayer, I've heard a number of people using that as a Christmas present. That for Grandma and Grandpa who have everything and don't really need anything. Well, maybe here's kids could pick that up. I just looked at it this morning. It's at the USCCB bookstore, so you can order it.
Yeah, it's a great resource, right? It's a great resource for families. Of every make, even a single person would benefit from bringing the liturgical life of the church into your own home.
Okay. No, absolutely. Now, Father Larry, because I've got you here, and you've got to respond to my questions, but you don't have to. But you know how it is. But I am such a huge fan. I live within walking distance. I live in Westchester, and I'm just across Wolf Road from the mausoleum at Queen of Heaven Cemetery, and I love the place. I've brought my grandchildren there. They think I'm odd, but just walking through it, and I just wondered if we could have some color commentary from you. It's what this place is. Can I go into it? When is it open? What am I going to see there? I'm just blown away by all of the art there. And let me just one last note. There's I think you would call it a tableau. My arts terminology is rather sparse, but there's a scene. There's a statue of Mary, Joseph, and Jesus, a family setting, and the family dog.
Right.
I just love that. I didn't know the Holy Family had a dog, but what's the story about the mausoleum? Should I go see it? Should our listeners go see it?
Yes, so I would strongly encourage all of our listeners to visit our cemeteries. We have a wonderful statue of Our Lady of Guadalupe at St. Casimir Cemetery, St. John Paul II at Resurrection Cemetery. Our cemeteries are filled with wonderful artwork. There's a great rosary walk at Queen of Heaven Cemetery that's just right behind the office. But the mausoleum in itself is nothing short of spectacular. It was built in the 1950s. It was built over 3 stages, and it is open up until a half hour before closing time. So if the cemetery closes at 5 o'clock, the mausoleum would close at 4:30. It's a wonderful place to go and to pray and to just let the artwork move you. There's artwork of every imaginable design and countless different kinds of stained glass there. The stained glass is absolutely beautiful, and there is something for everyone. If your style is the traditional stained glass, there is plenty of it there. If you want to see some stained glass from the 50s and the 60s that was a little bit more modern, they have that, and they've got everything in between. We don't know if the Holy Family had a dog or not, but I also do love that. It's right at the south end of the mausoleum, and it's on the garden level, the terrace level there. And it's just a wonderful way for us to talk about our faith. At Christ the King Parish, we have been doing a wonderful job of encouraging people to normalize talking about their relationship with God. We want that to be a part of everyday conversation. And walking through the mausoleum and talking about the artwork and talking about the symbolism and talking about the artistic value, all of those things really lead us to an appreciation of how God has been present in our world. And so I would encourage everyone to go and see it. It is the resting place of over 30,000 people. When completely filled, it's 33,000 plus people. But I can promise you there is nothing macabre about it. I think people get very interested in cemeteries around Halloween. Our cemeteries are not scary places. They're filled with beautiful artwork that remind us that we are God's children, that we're loved, and that one day we're going to be welcomed into that mansion that has been prepared for us. A walk through the mausoleum with your family would be a great way to normalize talking about faith with your family. I highly, highly encourage it.
And just to give
can I just add something real quick, sure. Deacon Dick?
Yeah.
What Father Larry was just talking about was we hear that in the funeral rite, right? There's that wonderful line that says that for us, our relationship with the person who has died has changed, not ended. It's just changed. And that relationship, what Father Larry was just talking about, upholds that belief of ours, that our relationship with those who have gone before us continues. And the cemeteries allow that in all the wonderful ways he was just talking about.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And just to give people a sense of the scope of the size of that building, it's, you say mausoleum, well, that's some stuffy little thing. This is what, three floors, Father? 3 or 4?
It's primarily 3 floors. There's actually parts of the center tower that are bigger than that. It's an extremely impressive building. You know, you were asking about where we came from. I'm very blessed to have had a wonderful family. My family has just been so nourishing to me and helps me in my ministry in every way. But when I was young, we used to sit around the table or the living room or whatever it was, and we were forced to hear all the family stories, if for no other reason, because we were bored. So I knew about my grandparents and my great-grandparents and all those family stories. Nowadays, kids are completely occupied with these devices. They're not paying attention to those family stories like we did 40, 50 years ago. And so a walk through the cemetery and saying, this was your great-grandmother, and this is what made her so special, and this is why she'd be so proud of you, and this was your great-uncle, and he served as whatever it might be. Our kids are not learning those family stories. A walk through your family cemetery would help remedy that. And I can promise you that kids will walk out of their eyes wide open about just how blessed they are to be a part of the family that they are. Yeah. Todd, would you like to kind of add to that? You were nodding there.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100% with you. It's the idea. We don't fear death. We should not fear death as Christians, as Catholics, and to keep the memory alive of our family from generation to generation is so terribly important. And again, we say the relationship has changed, not ended, and so to introduce our children into relationships with their great-grandparents, their great aunts and uncles, their cousins, people who have gone before them, I think is very laudable.
Mm-hmm. We have a number of family mausoleums. Excuse me, communal mausoleums. The family mausoleums, which we have a number of them in any number of our cemeteries, very prevalent at Mount Carmel Cemetery. It was an Italian tradition to be buried above ground, and as families could no longer afford their own family mausoleum, these community mausoleums were built, and they are absolutely spectacular. And we have them at Resurrection Cemetery, All Saints Cemetery in Des Plaines, and again, Queen of Heaven is just so incredibly impressive.
Thank you.
Please come out and see our cremation gardens, our cemeteries, the artwork, and all of the loved ones, and say a prayer. I often walk through the cemeteries in the morning and I pray for people that I don't know, but I read the name and I say a little prayer for them, and hopefully one day someone will return the favor to me. Someday someone will walk by, see my name, and say a little prayer.
And I'm going to jump in here with thanks to Father Larry and to Todd. Wonderful conversation. We'll close this portion of the radio hour, and I'm going to look at the engineer and see if we can continue on with another part on YouTube. I guess not. So I had a question I had to ask, but we'll have to have you back for another time. So thank you for being with us. God bless you both.
Thank you, Father Larry. Thanks, Todd.
Thank you.
But for those for whom it has been prepared, it will be given, it will be given.
And
join us every Monday through Friday at this time for Catholic Chicago. You can stream our programs live or listen to past programs by visiting our website, archchicago.org, and clicking on Radio TV. And please connect with Catholic Chicago on social media.